My marriage is emotionally dying. That's our topic today. And listen, I want you to subscribe if you haven't. We got so much on these kinds of topics. And also, there's a box for questions. If you have one, go ahead and send that in right away. Listen, marriages across the world are experiencing a lack of emotional connection. Some of the symptoms that you're having is it doesn't feel normal or relaxed to be able to share my emotions with my spouse. Another sign is there's always a cost if I do share my emotions with my spouse. They avoid me, they shut me down, they get angry, they gaslight me, they blame me. Okay, there's a cost if it is. Also, there's a pattern of medicating emotions in the system for one or both partners, whether it's watching television, scrolling on their phone, being over involved in activities, using substances, alcohol, drugs, food, pornography to medicate their emotional self. There's also another sign that your emotions are, your marriage is dying emotionally is that the immaturity in which you guys talk about feelings. There's the anger, there's the blow up, there's not being able to talk about certain topics, which really gets the whole system dysfunctional because no talk is number one rule for dysfunctional systems. You're not allowed to do that. So that's another symptom that can happen if your marriage is emotionally dying. And if you are kind of feeling married and alone, that's a symptom. If you would rather share your feelings with a friend or a coworker or even a stranger at a coffee shop or a bar or your hairdresser, your marriage is emotionally dying. It's not the place where you go first. Okay? Another symptom would be if you're not going to your spouse first for emotional support, your marriage is emotionally dying. These are all symptoms. And how do we get here? Some people start there. You've never really had emotional connection. That's not been a thing for you, whether it's cultural or that person's struggling. Many couples struggle with what we call intimacy anorexia. And if you haven't heard that term, go to intimacyanorexia.com or just go on our channel. You'll find several conversations about intimacy anorexia, the causes of it. And the symptoms of it are being too busy for you, blaming you for all the problems in the relationship, withholding love, especially the way you like to be loved, withholding spiritually, withholding or being disconnected during sex, unwilling or unable to share their feelings is a symptom of intimacy anorexia, and that's why we're talking about it. Kind of having this negative narrative about you, ongoing or ungrounded criticism, using anger or silence as a way to control in the relationship. You do feel married and alone if you're married to an intimacy anorexic. Now, there also could be depression symptoms, hormone symptoms, thyroid symptoms going on. We have a DVD called Sexless and Married. If you're not having a sexual relationship, you're definitely, your emotions are dying in this relationship. And what can you do about it? Well, if you're the person who wants the intimacy, you're going to be kind of limitations as far as what you can do about them. What you can do for yourself is educate yourself, see if you can find out what is going on, what is the core of this. And you might need professional help. Now, here at Heart to Heart Counseling Center, we deal with this issue every day and I have for 40 years. So you need to find someone who can really kind of get down and maybe discuss what the options are as far as assessment, and then get educated. Find yourself, we have lots of books on intimacy anorexia, married alone, partner betrayal trauma. If you find that you are living with an intimacy anorexic, the statistics on your trauma are very closely within a percentage or two of those who've experienced infidelity. So it's not a small matter what you're dealing with, especially if you're into the multiple decades of this kind of emotional neglect. So get educated, get support for yourself. That's what you can do. For them, you can open up the idea, have the conversation, but some people they don't want it. And some people actually are, if they have a psychological disorder like schizoid personality disorder, it's like The chip's not there for it. They just don't have a desire for it. But you are in pain. And if you're in pain, we actually have a DVD called Pain for Love. If it feels like you have to like be in pain for them to move towards you, and when you're not in pain, they start moving away from you. And if you say, I'm going to divorce or separate, they move towards you for maybe 1 to 3 weeks, and then they move back into their normal state because they've already kind of rescued you from the disaster of a divorce, because that would ruin the image of who they are. It's not about you, it's about the image of who they are. And so there's a lot of information here that you can get for yourself. If they're open to it, great. If they're open to get help, you can come do a 5-day intensive at Heart Heart Counseling Center. If you have experienced, a lot of neglect emotionally, you might want to do the neuromodulation treatment that is in our building, because we've seen so many people get their brains back, which help them to make better choices for themselves. Listen, you can do what you can do. A starter opportunity is, hey, listen, let's do these exercises together. Let's do 2 feelings a day. This is called the 3 dailies. It's in the book Intimacy, 100-Day Guide to Lasting Relationships. Let's do these together. Let's do 2 feelings a day. And in the book, I outline the rules, maintain eye contact, no examples about each other, and no feedback. You just point to a feeling and you give 2 sentences. I feel blank when. I first remember feeling blank when. And I first remember it's going to be under the age of 18. And they can become emotionally skilled. I mean, they might be avoiding you just because they have no skill. Okay, the greatest book for that is Emotional Fitness. You can tune up your emotional skill within 60 days and become emotionally literate. Okay, that being said, they do 2 of these a day with you. I feel blank when. I first remember feeling blank when. You do it as well. And then they give you 2 praises. I really love, appreciate, or value, ... about you. You say thank you. Make sure you do that. And then you give them 1 and you do 2 of those each. And then you also can pray or connect or do some kind of spiritual connection together. This can help rebuild the intimacy no matter where you are in the process. But if they're unwilling to do any of that, you are on the road of healing and recovery for yourself. And I would say take your next best step so that you can heal. You don't need to be neglected for decades. It's not necessary. You can do what you need to do to start healing and recovering without their permission and without their needing to get better. So again, if you haven't subscribed, hit that button. If you got a question, put it in the box. And until next time, do the next right thing for you.